Logan Paul, you might be saying to yourself, who is this guy?
You can't handle the truth!
In the last 6 months, he went from being the prince of Pokemon cards, raising $100,000 for charity, and having millions of people tune in to watch his reveal show, to being the boxing sultan of Brunei. Well, actually, if you took all of his followers together and made him a country, it'd kind of be closer to Australia. That's like 50 Brunei's. But my point is that Logan's on a whole nother level. We're just living in Logan's world. He's holding the biggest boxing event of the year. He's gonna fight Floyd Mayweather, who happens to be the best boxer of all time, in the biggest sporting event down in Miami, Florida this weekend. And the fact is that he's never even won a fight. Oh shit! Well, I should say he's never beaten anyone in the ring. Well, actually what I should say is that he's never run against a real fighter. But Logan is a YouTuber, a vlogger, a musician, and now one of the highest paid boxers in the world. His Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok happens to be some of the most interesting content on the internet. And if you've been missing for the last 8 years, or happen to be in a coma...
Shame.
Let me break down the recipe on how you make one Logan Paul. So Logan Paul is 18 years old at Ohio University when a little app called Vine hits the App Store. And for those of you who don't remember or didn't know what Vine was basically the first version of TikTok, or the prelude to TikTok. Instead of 15 or 60-second clips of video, you had a 7-second clip to grasp everyone's attention.
Well, I'm here, so let me get by. What are you gonna do, Lance? Oh, nice earrings, bro.
And let me tell you, Logan grasped all of the attentions. He became one of the largest talents on Vine on the entire app in just a few months. But shortly after his rise, Vine had to make its close. In late 2013, Logan starts his vlog channel and consistently, non-stop for 3 years, vlogs with all of the most interesting internet personalities at seemingly the most viral times that they're popping on the internet, using what we now today are calling social hacking. And in fact, he might be the person who invented social hacking. So he gains millions of followers, sells millions of dollars of merchandise, and inks deals with some of the largest Hollywood production companies.
I'm the king of the world!
At this point, Logan is undefeated, he is unrivaled, seems like he cannot lose.
This is Sparta!
He has an event that almost derails his career and his inevitable success forever. Logan Paul makes the biggest mistake of his career in late 2017. Logan recently discovered some huge successes around some mini-series on his YouTube channel based upon evoking emotions. Sadness, fear, happiness, joy, surprise. He would do anything to make a video to evoke one of those emotions from you. Example, killer clowns, missing the dog, anything to garner attention. So Logan had decided to book a trip to the Okogifara forest in Japan. This forest is notoriously known for having people go to commit suicide and end their life there. Japan is notorious for having some of the highest suicide rates in the entire world. And so Logan brings him and his crew out to the forest, and in that video you can see Logan looking for individuals in the forest, eventually finds what looks to be a deceased body and is making commentary on it, in some cases cracking jokes. And in this case, this is the first time that I can recall any person on a mass level getting cancel culture thrown their way. This is the first time in history. After the Japan incident, Logan starts to cater to his loyal following. And after a few months of recovering, Logan made the best decision of his career in hiring Mike Malek, a social media marketing expert for a company named Lovesac, who's one of Logan's first and largest sponsors. Mike comes to Logan and explains to him that he needs to come out with a long form of media, something that people can watch and get to know Logan on a more personal level, a more uncut production. And so the Impulsive Podcast is born, featuring Mike Malek, Logan Paul, and a third co-host, which has been rotating ever since. But this podcast gave Logan the opportunity to relate to people on his values, his interests, what he meant by certain things. This starts to reverse the negative stigma that had been plaguing Logan. Logan at that same time happened to have an internet beef that started with UK YouTuber KSI. And so their beef began the first YouTuber versus YouTuber boxing match. The audience and the appeal that came with that internet beef instantly appealed to the up-and-coming sports app DAZN, and they were signed to their first main event, instantly legitimizing YouTube boxing. The success of both those fights were great for YouTube boxing, but not necessarily for Logan Paul, who went 0-1-1 in his boxing record. In a sense, not won a boxing match. I should say never won a boxing. Winning outside the ring more than any of us can keep count. Now Logan has proven time and time again that he can garner attention doing anything that he'd like. Earlier this year, he held 2 different Pokemon card events, and those Pokemon card events sold out millions in cards, NFTs, merchandise, and membership subscription. And Logan's manager Jeff gets a phone call from Floyd's representation, and they want to fight Logan Paul. And boom, there are the highs and lows of Logan Paul. But I think the man has got something bigger than planned. I think he's been trying to keep this a little bit from us this whole time. I think Logan's going to become a household name again. I think he's going to take that grand acceptance, and I think he's going to do some unbelievable things with that. In fact, I think he's going to be the youngest ever elected president. But don't believe me, even people in his circles are saying so. Check out FaZe Banks here on the No Jumper podcast.
I end up getting
Logan
bored out
is
there.
I don't know him nearly as well as you do, but from what I've gathered, Logan is a different fucking animal, man. Like, this kid is all about his money, all about work, all about his career. Like, that is the one thing that motherfucker will do. He'll do anything for it. He'll live in.
Listen, he's
making all the right moves for his business.
Yes, he's hell bent. Yeah. He's hell bent on domination.
And there you have it. Sounds like Logan's in for world domination. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't liked and subscribed, make sure to do so.
I'm walking here!
Thanks.